This really follows on from the last video, and so I wanted to just add some practical suggestions, and they are just suggestions. At the end, I'll give a suggestion for a very simple exercise that can be done with all the elements. So, beginning with earth, look into grounding and practice grounding every day. And a good way of doing this is to just imagine roots going from your feet deep to the core of the earth and pulling in that earth energy. With all of these, doing this outside is really preferable, but apart from the fire, which I'll get to in a moment, you can sort of practice things indoors. So back to earth. Try to go barefoot whenever possible. Sit with a tree, make an offering and speak to the tree. Another idea would be to plant something using your bare hands, or even really just stick your bare hands into soil, bare earth. And as I think I mentioned in the last one, if you're going to have an altar, a little pop-up altar for each element every month, go outside and find something which speaks to you of that particular element. Going on to air, perhaps you could practice every day the fourfold breath, which again I think I explained also, or instead of breathing in light and breathing out impurities or negativity. That could be envisioned as grey or dark smoke. Go to a windy place, or go climb a hill and find a windy area and just sit with that. You could write a request on a leaf and release it into the wind. I'm rushing through these a bit, but I'm sure you can think of your own things to do. As I say, just suggestions. So moving on to water, take a mindful bath or shower. Cleansing with water in this way is termed lustration. So you could add herbs or flowers or all sorts of things, or even add your own intentions to the water as you bathe. And obviously go outside and sit by rushing water. Perhaps close your eyes and experience that and see if you can sense other impressions coming through. Swim, paddle, all of those sort of things. And finally, coming to fire, definitely do this outside just to be on the safe side. Elementals and elements are extremely powerful. Just be on the safe side. So try and find some stillness and perhaps have a small fire or light a candle, and perhaps try some fire spraying, looking into the flames and seeing, just losing yourself in it really, seeing what comes. So there's just a very few very basic ideas. But before you do those, always do a prayer of protection to whatever cosmic or universal force that you particularly align to, gods, the goddesses, the god, whatever it is that you align to with rather. And then some words of thanks to finish off with. Now, something that you could do daily with each of the elements. So devise your own simple evocation to an elemental, and then relax, again doing this outside if at all possible, and certainly with fire. Then relax and note any impressions that come to mind, either in your mind's eye or a physical response of some kind. Don't feel that you're not good enough for this sort of thing yet, because that's absolutely not true. Again, don't forget prayers of protection to begin and words of thanks to finish. All that's required here is really simplicity and sincerity. That's all that's needed. If nothing happens, that's fine too. You can try again another time, and it's quite unlikely when you begin that anything particular will happen. But always look out for experiences which come up a little later, sort of after you have been doing this, because they can be quite interesting. And finally, things that will trip you up or assail you in some form or another. One of them, no particular order, is that, oh, I'm just making this up. That doesn't matter. That's totally irrelevant. Yes, you may be, maybe you're not. It really doesn't matter. At this stage, just accept and stay open-minded about things. Another might be lack of confidence or feeling very self-conscious. Again, that's totally normal, and always try to be alone, which will mitigate some of the self-consciousness. Another one is despondency. Well, nothing happened, I'm not doing it right, or everyone else can do this but I can't. Again, that's a perfectly normal reaction to doing something that's a little out of the ordinary and that you're not quite used to. Again, just let that wash over you. Stay open-minded, stay vigilant after you have done some of these practices, because you just never know what might crop up. And another one would be, oh, that's just, and trying to write things off. Our rational brain will always try and write things off and provide us with a, I'm putting this in air quotes, bunny fingers, as write things off as just our imagination, or it will try to make it give you a logical explanation for things, is what I'm trying to say. And that's fine too. Sometimes there is a logical explanation, but along with that logical explanation is something a little bit more extraordinary. So on to some of the skills that you will be taking on board when you do things like this. Some of the benefits that you'll be gaining, which you might not think about, even if nothing particularly wonderful is happening as a result of your efforts. What's going on in the background is important too. So what you're doing is you're beginning to learn to focus. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not coming over as a bit condescending. You may know all this already, but you are learning to focus if you have never done anything like this before. You're also flexing your imagination and entering the imaginal realms, and that's so important. You're feeling into the other with a capital O. You are reaching out to the other world, to other beings, and so there is an acknowledgement within you that this is possible and that these beings are there. So whether or not you have a profound experience, it really doesn't matter. What you're doing is really important. Should also say on the subject of imagination, we are in contact with the imaginal, and this, we cannot just write things off just the imagination. That would be such a mistake. The imagination, the imaginal, is a really important part of witchcraft, and it's to be celebrated and revered.